Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video. So, I've been gone for a little bit, been basically getting some parts together for this build, and I managed to get a few parts in to progress on the build on the motor. So what we're going to be doing for today is I want to get the pushrod lanes so that we can basically order in the pushrods, which I've already done. But actually the pushrods are already here, so I already have the measurements, I already have the pushrods, I already have everything. But excuse me, I think it's very important that I actually just show you guys how I went about getting my pushrod length, because I went through the whole dry erase marker with the wear pattern. That didn't work for me because I kept getting, sometimes it'll clean the mark, sometimes it wouldn't. So for those of you who don't know what the wear pattern mark is, so you get a dry erase marker, you color in the tip of your valve stem. Now, keep in mind, I used a few different colors. I even went with permanent, and I even got this stuff, the Dicom, and all of them did the same thing. So basically, for some reason it's starting to fade on that one, but let me dry erase again. So another dry erase, right? See that, dry erase. So basically what you do is, you just color in the tip real good, okay? Then you put your roller rocker, obviously my studs aren't installed yet, but you put your roller rocker in, and then you put it to zero lash, and you spin the motor a couple of times, and it's supposed to leave a wear mark, and your wear mark's supposed to look something like that, right? More or less, that's kind of exaggerated. But yeah, it's supposed to leave a wear mark like that, and then you're supposed to be more or less down towards the center of the valve stem. For some reason, with my setup, I could not get it to leave a wear mark at all. I tried doing it before the marker dried, I tried using permanent marker, I tried using, like I said, the Dicom marking ink stuff, this stuff here. I tried using everything and it just wasn't working for me. So I was like, you know what, I was just so stressed out, I just couldn't figure it out. I was pissed, and I was just took a breather, took a day off. Then I went upon and I found this information regarding a 90 degree at mid-lift concept. I would call it concept or method. And I was reading up on it, and then there is a YouTube that actually shows a guy that actually uses this method, and he does a method, he tells you how to do it, he does a method, and then after he does a method, he does the wear mark pattern, and it's exactly the same. It's dead on center and it works. So I'm like, dude, this makes sense, right? So we'll just do it that way. We'll follow the math, even though I hate math. We'll follow the math, and we'll get our pushrod length. We'll get that ordered in, because that's kind of something that's kind of been holding me back myself, because I couldn't get it to leave a wear mark. So I don't know what my correct dimension is. Anyways, just babbling on right now. So, out of breath. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set this tripod out, and then as I'm going through the process, I'm going to explain to you guys exactly what I'm doing, and basically what I'm doing and all the measurements that I'm getting. So first things first that you need to know, or the information you need to have, is you need to have your cam card. If you have a new cam, you need to have your cam card. Now for me, I'm running the Howard's cam, roller cam conversion, roller lifters obviously, some eBay aluminum heads, and Howard's cam springs. I do have my cam card. My cam card, for some reason, based by what I measured opposite, is that even a word, opposite? But it's, let me see, I measured off my dial, I measured 0.579. Howard's cam card is telling me my intake's supposed to be at 0.544. So it's not much, not a big difference. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go based by what Howard's cam card is telling me. That way you at home can follow along with what I have, and then basically what we're looking at together, and then you guys could just basically input your numbers and you guys should have the same outcome. So let me set this camera up on a tripod, not on a tripod, somewhere, because I'm using a tripod for this laser that I bought off Amazon, which I do recommend you guys pick up if you guys are gonna go through this process. So multi-barrel shooting green light, as you guys can see. 20 buckaroonies on Amazon. So, alright, so I got the laser set up. So the way that I have it set up is just on my camera tripod. So I'm going to use this right here as my straight up and down axis. So the way that I have it is, I just put like this little pin that I had in the back. So basically what's telling me is that the line is going straight across all the valves, 90 degree to the front one. That's just to make sure that I'm straight like this on my laser. Yeah, that's that. Another thing that I did use that I did not mention is this torpedo level. So basically you just set it up like that. That just tells me that I am pretty much as leveled as can be. So if the spring holders are pretty much level, that means that my valve stem is 90 degree to that, so obviously that's straight and plumb. So there we are. So yep, so that's it. So if you look at it from this point of view, I'm trying not to block the laser, which I probably will. Really can't tell, but you can see it from there. So yeah, it's 90 degree. It's basically on the, it's straight on the valve stem. So let me just set this up right quick. That's not supposed to happen. Right, there you go. Hopefully the camera will be alright on here. Easy. There we go. Straighten you guys up a little. So this might be a little bit hard to show you. So before we start, there's no chain on my, zoom out. So no chain on the motor now, so my cam does sprint freely. We are working on the intake valve. So the way that it is the opposing lifter is at full dwell. So basically dwell is like, see when it goes up right before it goes back down, that is dwell. See how I can move it and it's not doing anything? That's how you know that the opposing one is all the way in its closed position, or as they like to call it, base low on the actual cam. So that's how we're always going to start. So set this up on a tripod like so. Hopefully this will be easy to show you guys. So like I said, torpedo level, got this leveled up. Obviously it's on my stand. Next tool you're going to be using is the comp cams. I'm using the 5.8 to 6.8 measuring adjustable push rod. So you will need that. You will need the actual roller rockers that you're going to be running in the motor. This is 7/16 by 1.6 ratio. Obviously the poly lock, the nut itself, there's no poly lock in there at the moment since we're doing adjustments. And that is everything. Oh, before we get started, I did buy the comp cam springs, right? So these are checking springs. As you can see, I don't have the actual spring, the Howard spring in there right now. So you want to use this using some check springs, because you do not want to compress the plunger inside the lifter, otherwise you'll get a wrong reading. These are the comp cam ones. Obviously they did not work out. They are a little bit too stiff and it is collapsing my plunger. So instead I bought these. They come also in a pair from Lowe's. Hell of a lot softer and they get the job done. And it does not collapse. So now that I have my laser set up, like I said, I'm gonna close my pusher all the way down with the adjuster on the bottom side of it. By the way, in case you guys didn't know, these, if you guys can see that little line on there, right here, you guys can see that. So 1 full rotation is 50 thou every time. So no matter how you close it, always 50 thou. Okay. So I'm gonna put that in there. Make sure it is seated. Next, I'm gonna throw my roller on there. You're gonna set that up just like that. Next, we're gonna put the lock on there. I'm sorry, the nut on there. I'm just gonna give it 1 or 2 spins, right? So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna lift this all the way up like that. And what I need to do is I need to start cranking down on this nut in order to get this line here. Hopefully you guys can see it. To get that line going across the roller pin and the trunnion. So you start tying it down, you can see it starts bringing the back end down to about half. Now I've seen people use like markers and stuff like that, but because the way that this one is shaped, it's kind of hard to do it like that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my level just down just a tad bit. Oops. Okay. Slowly. Alright. Depending on what tripod you're using is very finicky. So mine's very sensitive since it is for photography. So as you can see, I brought it down right about there. You guys can see, hopefully. Ooh. Let me check on the camera right quick. Make zoom in there a little bit. We'll set you guys up right there for now. Alright, whatever. There you go. So, as you can see, my laser is going up dead center on the actual valve itself. It is going across on the trunnion itself. I'm sorry, on the pin, roller pin. And it is going 90 degrees from the pin to the trunnion. Okay, so let's set that up right now. Next, you're going to take your marker and you're going to make a mark on the top of your nut. Right? So that's just to make sure so you can count how many turns you're going to need to do. Now, let me show you guys the math part of this that you're going to have to understand in order to get this done. Hopefully you guys can see that. Yes, you can. Just to bring it down. Okay, so can you see that? So on my intake, my lift at the valve is 0.544. The exhaust is 0.533. So I need to get 90 degree geometry at mid lift. So you're gonna divide the 0.544 divided by 2 gives you 2.72. That's where you want to be 90 degree. That would be your mid lift, obviously, right? Because that number you divide by 2, that's the half. So that's where you want to be at. So this number gives you the mid lift. Exhaust obviously is the same thing. Studs. Sorry, I'm not very good at explaining stuff here, but hopefully you guys are following. Now my studs, which are my rocker studs, I'm using 7/16-20. The 20 meaning that's 20. There's, what is it? 20,000 per rotation. I believe that means. So each full rotation, or I'm sorry, 20 threads per inch. That's what that means. I'm sorry. So 7/16-20. So one full rotation equals 0.05, right? Per turn, per rotation, obviously. So you get this number here because right now we're working on the intake side. So we're gonna do 0.272 divided by 0.05, which is right here. That's gonna give me 0.544 turns. Okay, so that's what we need to do right now. That's why you guys saw me mark on top. That way I can do 1 rotation, 2 rotation, 3 rotation, etc. So we're gonna do that. What I'm gonna do is you can hold this, you don't have to. I like to hold it. So on my intake side, I gotta go 0.544 turns. So that is 1 turn, 2 turns, 3 turns, 4 turns, 5 turns, right? So that would be 5.5 there. So I'm just gonna back it down just a little bit. If you can imagine this. So just a little bit backed off. So that's basically where you're at. So from here, what you want to do is you want to bring up your adjustable push rod, right? Bring it up there, like so. Hold it here and start unthreading it from the bottom. Right, so I somehow think I'm doing something wrong here, but no, I'm not. Okay. Right, So the camera ended up shutting off. It's a little bit hot. It's 106 degrees today, so it overheated, shut off. So I took off the push rod, measured it out, as you guys can see it here, and I am at 6-inch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. So 6.55. Okay. So push rods are only measured in 50 thou. So I can get either a 6.0 or a 6.50 or a 7. Can go 6.55. So I went with trick flows. Actually 6.550 right there. What the hell? I'm a little bit lost here. So let's do that one. Yeah, so 6.55 obviously. I'm a little bit over, but I think this dial's kind of beat up. So yeah, 6.55. That looks about right. 6.55. Using the 90-degree method. So basically what that is when the valve is at mid-lift, which is the 2.272, whatever it was, that would be mid-lift. So you should be able to acquire 90-degree. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to set up the gauge, and then I'll measure it out, and then we'll do the laser test to make sure that we are at 90-degree and that our push rod's going to work. Alright, so camera has cooled down a little bit. So basically I haven't done anything. The only thing that I did do was I did install basically my gauge setup, and I did install one of the actual correct size push rods. These guys here, trick flows. You can see right there, 6.55s. You can see it there. And then right there you can actually see this well. 6.55s. Alright, trick flows. Now this is the adjustable push rod that came out after I had measured it. And see if it'll focus. Focus. Alright. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5. Alright. It's a little bit off, but you can only get them in the 50 thou increment, so I'd have to go with the 50 thou. So that is basically how I got my 90-degree. Okay, so basically what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to get to my mid-lift on my intake side, which intake 5/4 divided by 2, 2.72. So I'm going to turn it to get my dial to 2.72, and I'm going to have to hold it because my cam is not on, my chain isn't on the cam at the moment. Killed myself there. So hopefully you guys can just take my word for this. So right now what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin it to, I get to 0.272. So we got 1 revolution, 2, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 71, 72. Okay. 72. So I've already lowered down my laser, so I can lower it up and down on the tripod itself. So I did lower it, and as you can see, centered on the trunnion, centered on this guy here, and that is with my correct push rod. If I can hold this, and you can see there, the little red one's a 70, 71, 72. Gonna move it a little bit. Right out there, more or less. So let me gently back this guy out now. Alright, so it's back zeroed out there, as you guys can see. Okay. So I know this video was kind of all over the place right now, but it's hot, it's 100 and something right now. But yeah, so that is basically how I managed to get, correct push rod length measurement for me personally. Math is there. For some reason I cannot get it to leave a wear pattern, which is why I decided to go with the 90-degree method. That's just me. You guys are more than welcome to try out whatever method works for you, but this in turn gave me pretty much accurate results. Got the push rod, 90-degree lift, let's see here, you guys can't really see it, but the roller looks dead centered on there. Let's see if I can get this guy out the way. One-hander, okay. Sits pretty centered. So that is it. So this is where we're going to leave off with this video for today. Thank you guys so much for viewing, watching, whatever you want to call it.
What's got here? Idiot!
Idiot?
What is he here?
Okay. I'll go right now. I'll go right now, okay? And that's pretty much it. So, that's pretty much where I'm going to wrap up this video. I know it was all over the place, like I mentioned, and it's just, I just can't continue like this for now. So, next video, I guess, we'll start assembling all the rocker studs, put the rocker studs, all the push rods, and start doing all the adjustments, throw the valve covers on, intake manifold, and get this motor all sealed up. Put the chain on, and basically timing chain cover. I do have a one-piece gasket for the oil pan as well. So lots to do on this motor steel, but we are pretty much nearing completion of putting this damn thing together, which it's a milestone. Getting the push rod length is a milestone for me, because I was struggling so much because I couldn't get a wear pattern. So basically, after all of that is put together, okay. Next, too dark. Other way. Next, what I want to do is I want to start cleaning up most of the stuff from the engine bay. Most of the stuff is out of there, so I want to get 2 new motor mounts. Battery's trash. WD-40 doesn't belong in there. Little fuel stuff doesn't belong in there since we are going EFI. I got a Borgeson box for it. I got a tilt column for it. But basically what I want to do is I want to go ahead and clean out everything, pressure wash everything, sand everything down, and give it a fresh coat of satin black. Then, and only then, after the whole engine bay is painted up, we can drop in the motor and the T5 transmission that has been sitting in this box, tripping me up every single time I pass by to go get something from my toolbox. So, with that said, thank you so much for watching the video. Like always, comment, like, subscribe. And yeah, so next video I'll probably do an update on all the cars, where all the cars sit, what are the plans for all the cars, because I know I've been getting messages regarding certain cars, and trust me, I'm trying to get to all the cars. I have plans for all the cars. There are some things that I've been working on behind the scenes to kind of get all these cars in line to pretty much start getting work done, but with the heat, with work, and all that kind of stuff, it's kind of impossible. You know, it's 100 and something degrees, my camera's shutting off, I can't get content, and I'm sweating like a dog. I'm baking myself in this garage for you guys. So, that's just the way life goes sometimes. Again, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.